Alright, so, greetings all. Before I basically jump into this game I'll be showing off, Fleeing the Fray, I want to basically do a quick little look at my, roguelike spotlight folder here I basically have on my desktop. And I'll note that basically for 2023, I basically plan to show off all these 70-year-olds for the various years that were basically done. Getting to 2013, which is basically the year that Fleeing the Fray was basically done in, I'll note I basically have 6 entries for 70-year-olds from this year. And I want to note that basically when I was going through this endeavor, basically going through all the various years of 70-year-olds that are basically done, I decided that I maybe have a hard cap where I wouldn't basically go over 6 entries for a year. And I want you to basically keep this in mind because the game I'm going to show you is very much one that's basically worth spotlighting and even playing. So if there's basically a game of these 70-year-olds you're basically looking at and you're thinking, I'm pretty interested to try, this is what I consider the one to basically shove in your face and say, this is interesting to try. But I regress and well, let's just jump into the game itself then, shall we? Alright, so Fleeing the Fray. Gonna keep that up right there for now. I actually do have it set up here to be played in a moment, but we'll get that in a moment here. So here's the README. There's basically how to play, how to run, and stuff like that. But more importantly, it's basically the about here. So I wanted to create a game where you are thrust into a large conflict and need to use your wits to survive and move onward. Orcs by Jacob Devsky was definitely an inspiration. There are 2 armies, the dwarves spawning on the top of the screen, various baddies spawning on the bottom of the screen. You are a stinking human thief who managed to get into the fortress of the dwarves and steal some valuable artifacts in the middle of the invasion. You now need to get out in the middle of the invasion, with your escape route blocked by a raging battle. The exit is, 200 squares away. Fortunately, you have items on you that you stole from the dwarves. You will have to use mana to utilize those items though. Mana recharges by 1 unit per turn. Good luck. So you can basically see there's 5 different items we basically use here. We have the crossbow, a basic ranged weapon. You can fire it in any of the 8 directions. It deals 5 damage using 5 mana. You have heal, which basically heals you completely using fairy mana. You have regeneration amulet. Heals you by 1 point every 4 turns. I guess you have 6 items, but whatever. The next one is the fireball. Explodes in a location of your choosing that you can see, dealing 10 damage in a 2-tile radius of the spot that you chose. Note that the circle of effect is a square. Scroll Confusion. Confuses an enemy for 10 turns, using 40 mana. Confused enemies will move in random directions, possibly damaging teammates and possibly damaging themselves. And we have the Self-Destruct Package. A fun item. It explodes, dealing 10 damage to everyone in a 10-tile radius, including you. Make sure you have at least 10 health when you use this, unless you just want to go out with a bang. So basically the Self-Destruct Package is your suicide item, but whatever. Alright, so let's get to it, shall we? Now, I'll note that for this game here, I'll be definitely using this window here basically to play it because this is a little bit small to say the least. So yeah, there's that. Alright, so we're just going to basically change this around to be capture like this. And excellent, it's basically capturing the curses file here already. We're just going to shorten this up a little bit. And there we go. So, Fleeing the Fray. Let's play a new game. And by the way, this is by Spherical. And I'll note by the way, the download link for this game didn't actually really work. So I actually had to go hunting around basically to find if Spherical was basically around, and I basically found his GitHub. Managed to look through it, find Fleeing the Fray. So that's how I basically got around to basically playing this game. Alright, so we have to choose our free items here to basically run around with. So I'll note that the heal spell is probably really useful to basically have for this type of game. So we'll get that. The regen amulet. I found that basically every 4 turns is like useful, basically to like heal up if you basically like avoid being hit. So we'll take that. It doesn't take any mana you really use, so that's nice as well. And then we have like Fireball, Scroll of Confusion, Self-Destruct Package, and Crossbow. Now, I note that the crossbow, the physics for this game, this game, basically the crossbows are sort of like a bullet hell mechanic. So you basically fire a crossbow and it basically like flies across the screen basically in a slow manner. I think I want to go for probably the fireball. Will probably be the best thing to basically get here. So we'll get that. All right, so here's our battlefield here, as you can basically see. So good job. You managed to sneak into the fortress of the dwarves and nab the priceless artifact while the dwarves were busy repelling a siege. Or sage. Spelling, whatever, but whatever. Unfortunately, your escape route is now encased in a battle. Can you navigate 200 tiles of mayhem? So, from my window here, you can basically see I have a strength of 6, I have defense of 0. We have a heal of 30 mana option. We have a regen amulet, but basically doesn't cost mana, just basically heals us as we go along. And we have a fireball option. So basically those are my actions. Up top, you can basically see a window that basically shows the battlefield we're basically on. You can basically see the crossbow dwarf basically there. He's basically a short and sturdy alcoholic. He's got a strength of 2. Right now this guy's basically lost 2 HP, so not great for him. He's got a little bit of crossbow bolts right here, as you see flying around the screen. So those yellow dashes basically his crossbow lines. And I should probably be using this down here basically do it. So basically these are the crossbow bolts right down here. You basically see the corpses that they basically have here. So you got marines, so axe dwarves and trolls and everything else here, goblins, kobolds, eventually orcs as well. There's the dwarf himself. So there's a crossbow dwarf. There's remains of a troll. Now, how is this basically going to work, by the way, is that we're basically going to advance very, very slowly, and he's basically going to want to basically kill us because we're an enemy. And no, by the way, you can see starting to basically fires bolts basically at us, so that's a thing. And it's kind of hard to see, but basically up here is basically an axe dwarf to basically spawn in. So yeah, we have another one of these basically issues where someone decided to basically put blue on a black background, because why not? Now I can basically go this way for a little bit because we're not gonna be hit by those bolts anytime soon, so that's fine. We're just gonna go this way. Now note that we have some other stuff basically spawning in here. We have trolls. Basically they're hulking brutes. They have claws and stuff like that. 20 HP. So I'll note basically in this we're pretty squishy, so to speak. So to basically avoid combat. Basically the idea here. So let's go this way. And you can see by the way as well, we're not the only one who's basically firing stuff. So you have the crossbows are basically coming from the kobolds here as well. So yeah, it's basically an interesting battle mechanic here. You really watch out for this guy because basically he's hard to see, the axe dwarf. And you'll start firing bolts as well. Now note by the way, we're basically an enemy to the dwarves as well as the monsters. So basically these guys will fight each other, but they'll also basically fight us if we're basically basically visible, so to speak. And note by the way, the troll's basically coming from me because I'm basically closer to him. So that's the thing as well. Alright, how do I basically deal with the troll here? And yeah, note that the kobold basically sees me first, so he's coming for me now. Now look at the kobolds aren't that strong. They're 2 HP monsters, so they're not that tough. Now here's a question, by the way. You can't really tell which troll's which in this game, so that's my only real complaint about this game. You can't really tell who's the weak dwarf, who's basically the the kobold I'm looking at. You're just gonna fire there, it's fine. Alright, that troll's probably dead if it's the weak one, so... Oh, there goes a kobold. Oh, there goes that troll. And we saw an orc die somewhere, so... Orcs are basically in the mix now. Now, there is friendly fire, by the way, I believe, in this game, so it is possible for, like, you know, crossbows to basically, like, you know, be fired by a crossbow dwarf, and it'll basically, like, hit the friendly crossbow dwarf if they're, like, you know, not careful. Which is cool. Note, by the way, you can also see as well, like, you know, currently we've, like, traveled, like, you know, very distance, so that's basically how far we basically travel along, or, like, you know, for the most part. We got a real battle basically coming up here, so... We got goblins, they're basically short, ugly, and unfriendly. They don't have, like, you know, much HP, but whatever. Alright, how do I want to do this? I want to go up and above, or down and below? You're dead. We'll kill off 2 of the dwarves there. And yeah, it's really hard to tell, like, you know, are these axe dwarves or something else, because they're, like, you know, so hard to basically see in the background. There's that guy. Oh, there goes the crossbow dwarf. Now, it's kind of dangerous being this far up the screen, but, you know, I don't really have much you know, choice. There's too many guys down there to sort of like, deal with, and, like, you know... I think, unfortunately, that guy's coming from me, so... We're going to take a hit from this guy, unfortunately, so... Ow. So the axe dwarf basically attacks the player for 6 HP there. Yeah, I lost sound there from him. Now, this guy may switch targets if, like, you know... He gets hit, so that might be a thing. Well, there goes the axe dwarf. Oh, there's an orc, by the way, so... Brutus, aggressive, and repulsive carnivores, basically, like, you know... In the mix. They're basically the, like, orange O down there. Goes him. Lots of orcs basically coming into the fray here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to start using, like, you know, spells, I think, soon, but, you can see how, like, the regeneration, like, you know, ring basically helps out, like, you know, in the long run, I guess, because, like, you know, you don't have to basically pay for it, and it just sort of helps you. Alright, so this guy basically attacked me for 2 points there. That's not too bad, I can deal with that. He's going to fire a crossbow at me, it's fine. That's perfect, I hit the troll there for a little bit of damage. This. At this point, I want to start getting back to the middle, right? So, we'll go this way a little bit. Go this way for a little bit. There's a troll, by the way, so he's having fun. let's walk this way. Now, I will not buy if I really want to. I can, like, come down here a little bit. So I get attacked by the goblin there. The goblins aren't too bad for being, like, attacked by because they don't have a whole lot of strength. They have strength for free, so pop, there goes him. First real kill, I guess. The trolls are a little more scary because they basically have an attack of 5. The axe dwarves have attacks of 6. I think the orcs have fairly high attack as well, but whatever. Nope, there goes a goblin. I should probably fireball at this point just to kill off something. There's the orc right there, it's fine. Looks like the orcs have crossbows too, so they're basically firing those at me. I'm okay with this. We can go this way a little bit to avoid these guys. So you can see like the axe dwarves have like attacks of 6, so pretty scary those guys are. Oh, this guy decided to attack me like right on, so it's painful. You know what? I don't really care about these guys attacking me too much, so let's go here. We'll go right there. Note that we're basically like, making a pretty good distance here. I'll note this is a game that can be really, really difficult sometimes, because like, you'll get into a situation where like, you just really can't dodge, but so far I'm doing a pretty good job avoiding the fray here. I'm not sure if you noticed it, but that's an axe dwarf basically chasing me right there. Axe dwarf, axe dwarf, axe dwarf. So quite a few axe dwarves. Let's see here. We're gonna move here. I'll move right there. I basically just want to get these guys to sort of like, chase each other now a little bit. So the orcs basically have an attack of 4, so I have to watch out for that, obviously. I think I'd rather be next to the orc here, so we'll come here. At this point, we're just going to heal up. Now, note that basically get attacked again by the orc there, so basically we like, get smacked by him. He also basically like, hits us before we get regeneration. That's nice, that's a thing. Oh, there's the axe dwarf. He's done. Alright, everything should start coming toward me now. Oh, that's good. We're basically like, still making good distance here. Bad time for this guy to pop in, but it's fine. We're unfortunately going to take a hit by this guy here, but oh well. Well, you know what? It might be more, savvy to basically smack this guy around with, like, a fireball, so... Alright, so the third gets burned for 10 HP. So apparently there's a huge radius on the fireball, by the way. Basically it's like 2 tiles, not 1 tile. That's good to know. We're gonna go here. I'm gonna get hit by this guy once. We'll go right there. Hit by this guy again. I'm gonna heal up just so I don't don't die here. Let's go this way. I sort of put myself in a bad spot here because now I have to basically take a hit by the crossbolt or the dwarf, so we'll go this way to get hit by oh, I didn't get hit by the crossbolt, so that's nice. We're gonna go this way a little bit. Looks like the the dwarf got hit by it though, so that's nice. Okay, there goes that guy. Step up here. Okay, this is really gonna hurt because I have like troll and like doors between me here, but whatever. Let's go here. Now here's the thing: are they gonna all target me first, or gonna basically target each other first? All right, so the troll basically attacked the player, so that happened obviously. Then it killed the dwarf after. That's fine. We're not dead yet. We're still surviving. I mean, it's a fun little tactical game, right? You have to like make your way like across the field without dying. I like the fact that there's basically 2 of those guys over there. Let's go here. Did I just get hit? Walk this way. Walk this way. Walk this way. The orc basically rips into me there for a little bit, but whatever. Go this way. Step up here for a moment. See, this is going to really hurt, but I have to heal there. Step this way. There goes the troll. Is this it? Am I past the battle? So congratulations, you win. Press escape to exit. So, okay. That's a lot easier than I expected it to be, but it sort of gives you like a good preview of how this gameplay basically works. Basically, you have to sort of like plan out like how to basically tactically like get from like one end to the other. And this is definitely a game that's worth spotlighting. But the thing is, like, I have like too many like games basically like to show you guys, and they're like, here's the thing: there's like no like really good or like bad 70-year-olds I'm basically like showing here for you guys. So they all have like some interesting aspect to them that like makes them basically stand out. And this one definitely stood out for like the nature of like the sort of like tactical nature of like having to like avoid and like run around stuff. Most of the time when you play a traditional role, like you're basically just trying to avoid like taking damage and stuff. But you usually just like stand up next to like the enemy block, so smack until you both die. this like really like has this sort of like interesting like nature where you have to like anticipate like where it's basically important to move, and I enjoyed it quite a bit basically playing it, but whatever. Now, note by the way as well, there's like other stuff you basically use here. You have like the crossbow, you have like skill confusion and self-destruct. Both just quickly jump in, just basically show these like off for a moment. Basically, the crossbow is like you've already basically seen how it basically works. Basically, you fire a crossbow bolt that does like 5 damage against like enemies that basically hits, and like basically once these crossbow bolts are basically out in the field, they basically are out in the field, and like they basically like they can be hit like you can run into them, or you really can't run into your own. Anyone can basically run into these, basically take damage, and that's like basically sort of plan it. Confusion basically like you confuse something, so I basically confuse this guy. So the crossbow dwarf is basically confused, so he doesn't know what he's basically doing now. So I'm just going to go like this. He's going to randomly run around now, not understand what's going on. And then of course there's self-destruct. So we're just going to go out in a bang of glory here. So let's go boom. So game over. Press escape to exit. But you basically get the idea of like these other abilities basically. I don't know why you'd ever use like self-destruct, but it does a lot of damage, I guess, if like you can survive the blast. All right, so that was essentially like fleeing the fray. I hope you guys basically enjoyed it, and take care.